Let me know what you're thinking. Now, I may be having a problem with the comment section. Nothing showed up yesterday for me on the screen here, although I did get some comments yesterday. So today, what I'm going to try to do, if it doesn't show up here, I'm going to try and look for it. I'm going to try to go to YouTube and Facebook individually. If I see some comments, I will respond to the comments. So thank you for being with us again here today. Hopefully you can tell somebody about the site. You can subscribe. They can subscribe. And hopefully we can bring something of value to you, whether that be in the form of information, whether that be value in the form of entertainment, or in just sharing truth, the word of God. Again, this is not, I'm not going to say what the show is not. I'll just say what it is. How about that? So we've already said that. That's what the show is. And hopefully it's something that you can enjoy. Um, we did not plan yesterday on talking about George Floyd. Matter of fact, I didn't hear about it until yesterday morning. I had stayed up all night the previous night working on my script for yesterday, and actually I wound up just not using it. Threw it away because I felt that George Floyd, and what happened to him, and what has been happening across this country to African American males in particular, but African American females as well, and our young folks. I felt that that was important enough to talk about yesterday. And there's some things that are going on today that are worth talking about as well. So we're going to get into those. Now, I always have to do something on COVID-19. So we're going to talk a little bit about COVID-19. One of the things we're going to talk about with COVID-19 is the fact that yesterday we reached over 100,000 in deaths from COVID-19. Did you know that that's more deaths in 3 months than we had in the Korean War, the Vietnamese War, and in the Gulf War? America suffered more deaths in 3 months than it did in the entire Korean War, the entire Vietnamese War, and the entire Gulf War all combined together. Over 100,000 deaths. And the death toll is not stopping. People are still dying from COVID-19. You have to take that serious. I hope that you take that serious. As they are now in Brazil. I showed you a graph yesterday, or was the day before yesterday, that showed the top 10 countries in the world that have COVID-19 coronavirus infections. The United States leads in infections. The United States leads in deaths. And as I said yesterday, I don't understand that. I can't understand that. That makes no sense to me. The most powerful in the country in the world, the richest country in the world, supposed to have the best health care. We don't. We do not have the best health care in the world. And as you have seen, it is people who do not have good health care that are being impacted the most. Those are the people that are dying the most. And right now, that is brown and black people. But if you go to Brazil, it's the same thing in Brazil. The majority of people in Brazil are brown people. So they are dying. People who do not have adequate health care are dying more than 50% the rest of the country. So hopefully we can do something about that in this country. Yes, I do believe that every American has the right to quality health care, not just health care. Look, I went to the eye doctor yesterday, had to get some new rims. These actually are my replacements. And the glasses that I got yesterday, with my insurance, almost $400. I could have went as high as $500 yesterday, and that's after my insurance kicked in. That doesn't make any sense to me. Healthcare in this country, the cost is enormous, and it's not right. It's not fair. What it is, it's major business. It's big business, and for all of you that are in favor of big business, they're not in favor of you. So I don't get that. Okay, let's see what else we got here about COVID-19. Common symptoms of COVID-19 include, you need to know this, fever, dry coughing, fatigue, loss of appetite, loss of smell, and body aching. If you are suffering from those things, you're supposed to call your doctor. Talk to your doctor. Again, we want to be safe rather than sorry when it comes to protecting yourself from this disease, but also if you have symptoms, be safe rather than sorry. Go to your doctor because you don't want to be walking around with this thing and infecting your family members or infecting someone else. So be safe than sorry in that aspect too, and call your doctor and talk to your doctor. Um, have you ever heard of, now, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this thing. I was going to put it into my phone and have the phone pronounce it for me, but I didn't get around to doing that. It's spelled Cytokine. Cytokine? I'll just say cytokine. Have you ever heard of cytokine storm? It's an overreaction of the body's immune system. These messengers, and that's what they're referred to as messengers, what they do is, let me go to the next page here. Y'all know I'm reading this. They go into the bloodstream long after the virus, COVID-19, is no longer a threat, causing the immune system to attack the body's own tissues, potentially causing significant harm. This could cause damage to the liver, blood vessels, kidney, and lung, and increase a formation of blood clots. Man, I don't remember his name now. There's an actor, Nick Cordero. Cordero. Nick has been suffering from COVID-19 for quite some time now. And one of the things that they had to do with Nick, unfortunately, was to amputate one of his legs. And that was due to the blood clotting. But this thing is, this COVID-19, y'all, it's serious. It's no joke. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm on time. I stay on time here because I got something for you. I have something for you at the end of the show, and you're gonna want to stick around and check it out. Um, Nick Cordero is still fighting the virus. He has lost a leg. My point is this: this virus does not discriminate, and it is not only a killer; it is a crippler. You think you will just be sick, like a bad case of the flu or something, but no. Um, you don't want to go through the ills of this virus. You don't want to. I mean, uh, fighting for breath, like I said, the cold chills, all that stuff. This thing is not nice. It's a lot worse than a typical case of the flu. Um, Brazil is providing. What I was going to say about Brazil is this. Um, as I said yesterday, because it was starting to warm up, I was starting to get a little bit more comfortable, feel a little bit more comfortable about this virus, thinking that it was going to be like the flu. And as the temperature got warmer, this flu was not going to be as rampant as it has been. But Brazil is proving that wrong. Brazil is a hot weather country. As a matter of fact, one of the places where it's hitting the hardest in Brazil is the Amazon, a hot weather area there, and it's still strong. It's not slowing up at all. So don't think because the temperature is getting warmer, don't think because we're getting ready to come into summertime that you don't need to worry about this virus. I tell you what I'm going to do. Just like I tell you, I am being rather safe than sorry. And what I'm really doing is I'm paying attention now that Texas is, probably about 80% open. And as of June 1st, we will be, I guess you could say, 100% open. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking from June 1st to June 15th to see what Texas looks like. Now, I'll say this. It's already an upswing. I live in the north part of Dallas. I live in North Dallas, Plano to be exact. And Plano has not really been hit that hard with COVID-19. But guess what? It's hitting harder now. Uh, infectious infection has doubled in the 4 counties in North Texas. So this thing is getting worse. Why? Because people are becoming comfortable, people are getting around each other more, so more opportunity for this virus to spread. Now, I know that, one of my boys told me, man, you're talking about this COVID-19 thing a lot. Well, because it's that serious. It's that serious. So hopefully people will begin to take it as serious as it is and continue to invoke social distancing. Um, wow. Watching the news, here's something I don't get. You're proved to be a liar, and then you lash out. To me, that's an abuse of power. actually an abuse of power that you don't have even. What am I referring to? Our president. Twitter did a fact check on some statements that he made, and they proved to be false. And so, what does he do? He responds and says that he may shut them down, as well as other Silicon Valley tech companies, Twitter, Facebook, um, all of these companies. Now he's threatened to shut them down. Well, actually, he doesn't have that power. Just like he said he was going to override the governors when it came to opening up places of worship, he doesn't have that power either. He wants you to think he does because he wants to get his way, but he doesn't have that power. Um, I'm not sure what else to say about that, except for to me that is a clear case of someone over exceeding the power that they have or trying to anyhow. Back to George Floyd. If you've been watching the news, you saw last night that they had riots there in Minneapolis. You saw that people are protesting in Los Angeles and other places, which is a good thing. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that people are coming together and protesting the thing. Remember, that's one of the keys I said if we want to infect change. One of the keys is that people who are being affected by it most, who are being trivialized, the people who are suffering, who are being killed by police, have to come together, have to come together. And so I'm glad to see that people in different cities are protesting. And I'm going to tell you something else that I saw. It wasn't just black people that are protesting, because that's the other thing that I stated yesterday. You see change in America when the majority actually recognize and realize the atrocities that have been placed on the minority. That's what we saw in the '60s during the civil rights movement. We saw when the country as a whole recognized the atrocities that black people were dealing with, then that's when we saw change. And I think it's the same thing when it comes to these unjust killings, when it comes to an unjust judicial system here in America. It can't be just the people who are oppressed. All Americans have to recognize these atrocities, and all Americans have to, at the very least, speak on it, speak out against it. So I'm glad to see the protesters came out yesterday. What I'm not glad to see is that some bad folks came out as well. I've said this before. Generally, what you have is when you have good, you have maybe 10% of the good is bad. And that 10% can taint the other 90% very easily. That's what happened a lot with black folks. You had 10%, maybe not even 10%, that were bad, and we all are tainted. When I was in high school, um, our coaches told us this. They said, whenever you leave this campus, whenever you're not around your teammates, whenever you're not around your parents, you have to understand that you represent this team. You represent this school. You represent this community. So be on your best behavior at all times, because life is not fair, and we will all be tainted with your ills if you do something wrong. It's the same thing with people who are doing the right thing and protesting, who are peacefully protesting. When you have a few come out and riot, it taints the entire protest. It makes everybody look good. When you have a few come out and loot, it makes everyone look bad. But it does something else. It sidetracks the goal. It sidetracks what you're trying to do, what we're trying to do. It sidetracks that. So when you have someone, if you see people who are doing anything that will make your protest look bad, you got to say something. When you see people looting, you got to say something. Look, here's the thing about all of that. I was watching Steven, I forget his last name. He played 14 years in the NBA. I know he played with San Antonio at one time. He and George Jones were best friends. Matter of fact, they referred to themselves as twins. Steve said earlier today, he said, the first time we met, we were introduced by a mutual acquaintance. And he said, the first thing we said to each other is, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?" Because they looked so much like each other, they, they wanted to make sure that they didn't have the same father because they thought they might have been brothers. But one thing that he said, he was asked a question, how do you think he, what do you think he would think about what's going on right now? He said he would be glad to see the protesters, to see that kind of stuff going on. But as far as the rioting and the looting, he would not be happy with that. And no one should be happy with that. We have to stay focused, people. We have to stay focused on doing the right thing, on doing good. Another thing I wanted to say about all that is this, looking at my time again. Do you think that the individual, and I don't remember his name, don't care to remember his name, that killed George Floyd, you think he was hurt by any of the looting that took place, by any of the rioting and burning that took place? Do you think he was helped by any of that? Do you think that your cause, our cause, is helped by any of that? No, it's not. No, it's not. So stay the course. Stay focused. Don't let a few bad people distract you. And I'm saying that also to the people who are watching this, because you have a few people who go out and riot. You have a few people who go out and loot. Don't taint everyone with that. The people who are out there marching and protesting are good people, are good people. Please do not allow a few bad people to taint them and to get you off a track with what's going on and what people are marching and protesting for. It's the injustice. It's the injustice. We can't allow that type of behavior by our paid officials who are paid to serve and to protect. We can't allow these lynchings to continue. You have to take a stand, whether it's speaking against it, whether it's joining the protesters and marching, whether it's, I don't know what it is, but we as Americans cannot allow our fellow Americans to continue to be hunted down like animals and killed. It's a shame that most Black men that I know have a concern and have a, whether you want to call it a fear or an anxiety when it comes to the police. You know, DJ Quick has a song, Fandango, where he talks about that. I remember when we used to get scared when they got behind us, is what he says. I remember when we used to get scared when they got behind us. Well, look, I'm going to tell you, I'm not afraid of the police, but I do get a level of anxiety. Um, I have a buddy of mine, Dan, had traveled to Texas to visit with me, make sure I was doing okay, check on his boy. And we took a ride down to Alabama, then we rode up to Arkansas. And then from there, we were leaving and driving back to Sacramento. We were going through Oklahoma. Oklahoma. On our way through Oklahoma, we had been in Oklahoma for maybe an hour and a half. We're driving on Highway 40, and I'm driving at the time actually. And I see a cop. I see him on the side of the road. He was actually like in the center divide area there. And the first thing I do is I look at my speed, and I was abiding by the speed limit. Yes, I was. Um, but what I did do was there was only two lanes going each way. I put my blinker on and I got over to the slow lane, and there was a car behind me, maybe 3 car lengths behind me when I did that. I saw the cop come onto the freeway coming in my direction. And at first he didn't look like he was speeding to catch me. Didn't look like it. But I would say within a minute, he hit it. Flew up, nudged his way between myself and the car behind me, and got behind me and hit its lights. I pull over, and he walks up to the passenger side of the car, and I asked him the question, which every citizen has the right to ask an officer when they get pulled over. You have the right to ask, "Why did you pull me over?" I asked him, "Why did you pull me over, officer?" He said, "You didn't hit your blinker. You didn't put your blinker on when you got over," which I did. Look, I was very aware of everything. When police officer gets behind a black man, I don't know any black man that's not aware of everything. You're going to check your speed. You're going to do everything right because you don't want to get pulled over. So he lied. He lied when he said I didn't put my blinker on. I did put my blinker on. He asked me to get out of the car and come back to his cruiser because he was going to write me a ticket. So I get out. Now, look, I knew this then, and I'm telling you now. The reason why he wanted to ask me to get out and come back to his cruiser was because he wanted to question me alone. Okay? So when I get out and I walk to his cruiser, he says he reached over and he asked my buddy a few questions. I didn't hear what he was saying. So we go back, we get in the cruiser, and what he does, the first thing he asked me was, "Is there anything in the car that I should know about? Do you have any guns in the car? Any drugs in the car?" And I said, "No, we don't." And I asked him a question. I said, "Look, no one's in here but you and I. You can tell me the truth. You pulled me over because you saw two black men in a BMW. Isn't that just be honest? It's you and I." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah." He said, "This is a high trafficking area for drugs. So seeing two black guys driving a later model BMW with California plates in Oklahoma," he said, "that was suspicious. Yeah, that's why I pulled you over." That's the kind of stuff we have to deal with. Now, he called himself doing me a favor. He says, "I'm not going to write you a ticket. I'm just going to give you a warning." Then he told me, he says, "Look, you're on the radar now. So every cop in Oklahoma knows that you're in Oklahoma. So be careful on your way wherever you're going to California." We deal with that all the time. That's not the first time something like that's happened to me. Matter of fact, maybe I don't know about it. Dan. I gotta be careful with you, man. The first time it happened to me, Dan had got his first BMW, and I went on a food run to Jack in the Box on Watt and Marconi in Sacramento, and Sacramento Sheriff's Officer pulled me over because he said I was going too slow. Speed limit was 40. I was doing 35. I wasn't sure what the speed limit was, so I slowed down to what I thought, it might be. That's why he pulled me over. He wound up handcuffing me for no reason. And if it weren't for a member of the Highway Patrol, I might have went to jail because the guy seemed like he had an attitude, and it seemed like the attitude he had because I was black. So that's what we deal with all the time. Thank God that I wasn't shot. I saw the video when they pulled George Floyd out of the car. He wasn't violent at all. And so since they already had him handcuffed, as soon as they pulled him out the car, they handcuffed him. Why did you have to have him down on the ground with your knee on his neck, on his throat? Why did you have to do that? Why didn't you just put him in the car and do whatever you needed to do? That was murder. Now, I want to say something else. The mayor of Minneapolis is calling for the officer, I think all 4 officers, to be arrested. Why has there not been an arrest? If there was a black man had killed a police officer and they knew who pulled the trigger, he would be arrested. He would be arrested and they would continue to obtain evidence to try to convict him of murder. Why? I would like for someone to ask the DA in Minneapolis, what are you waiting for? Why has this police officer not been arrested? Are you saying that you don't have enough evidence to make arrest? I understand you might say you may not have all the evidence you need for a conviction, but there's clearly enough evidence for an arrest. So when I talk about accountability, we got to hold everybody accountable. Not only the police officer who killed him, but the DA who has not made an arrest yet needs to be held accountable, unless there is some reasonable answer to the question of why you have not made an arrest. That DA should be voted out if that isn't the case. And that's what we got to start doing, whether it's Sacramento, Minneapolis, Los Angeles. We have to start voting out people who are not just. And when I say we, I'm not talking about just African Americans. I'm not just talking about brown people. I'm talking about Caucasians, Asians, all of us. We have to vote out people who are not going to do what they are sworn to do, and that is to protect all of us. That is to serve with honor, with dignity. And there's no dignity in this not in an arrest not being made in this situation. So I said I had something for you. All right. And again, let me do this again. Uh, for those of you on Facebook, I have not talked to you about this vlog. This is a vlog that's going to be that's going to be launched on June the 1st, Monday. And right now we're going live every day. But starting June the 1st, it will be a vlog that will be recorded, that will be put up on YouTube once a week. More than likely, Sundays we'll probably release the vlog. So it'll be a once a week vlog. And it will, again, be about information, entertainment, and truth. And when I say truth, I'm referring to the Word of God. Now, I had made a statement the other day talking about comedians being flaky, okay? And maybe I'm not right there. Maybe I'm also using the 10% rule or less. Um, I have a couple of comedians who said they wanted to do something and they are being flaky. But I have two guys, and I'm going to call them out, that are just, that are men of their words. Called me, said they're going to do what they're going to do. Jay Red, who is a comedian, been around for a long time. Jay Red is spot on, brother. Good guy, man. Funny guy. Funny guy. Jay Red actually has a show right now that's on Facebook. I think he does it Facebook Live, and if I remember, it's like 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'll get the information and I will share that with you tomorrow. But Jay Red is actually going to come on Saturday, so I'll share that information with you tomorrow, and then he will be on the show on Saturday. So come back, make sure you check out Jay Red. The brother is very, very funny. Also, Andre Bailey. Andre, appreciate you, man. Andre called me back yesterday. Andre is going to come on as well. Both of these guys, you can find them doing their comedy thing all over the place. And so I will make sure tomorrow I have the information on where they're going to be, where you can find them, all of that stuff. But you need to check this out. I got something here for you, and I told you I had something for you. Check it out.
I'm a young black man doing all that I can to stand. Oh, but when I look around and I see what's being done to my kind, every day I'm being hunted as prey. My people don't want no trouble. We've had enough struggle. I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live. I'm a
12 years
young.
old, y'all. 12 years old. And he just wants to live. He just wants to live. We all just want to live. Have a good day. Till tomorrow, you know what to do. Comment, like, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and tell somebody about the show. So until tomorrow, make it happen. We out.